Welcome to Gutter Trash, episode 217, The Coffin. My name is James Hetfield.
And I'm... Oh, I started to say Cliff Burton, and that would have just been terrible.
Everyone knows you're a Lars.
I'm a Lars. I'm more of a Jason Newsted, because you turned me down so no one can hear me. Both parts are actually played by Eric during every episode of the show.
Oh, boy. It's true.
I gotta earn my dues.
Yep. You gotta be in the band for 14 years before we even think about respecting you.
Let's talk about that for a second.
Okay.
We've been listening to a lot of Metallica lately.
Yeah.
Because they had their 30th anniversary, and we listened to the one of the live shows.
Yeah. It was about a year ago, and they kind of... I found them floating out on the internet.
Lars would approve.
Yeah. He's got a free pass for that kind of thing. For life!
Oh, yeah, he does. So, yeah, we've been listening to a lot of Metallica lately. And I grew up listening to Metallica, loving Metallica.
Yeah.
And I gotta say, And Justice for All, amazing album. Probably my favorite thing they've ever recorded.
All right. It's really good.
Yeah.
Except,
why would they, as like some sort of, I don't know, hazing ritual or something, why would they just like maybe not let him have the comfortable bed on the tour bus, or maybe like give him the ugly girl out of all the groupies for the first year? Why would
I'm guessing
they did
they
that
still
too.
did that.
Yeah, they did that too. But why would they also, to the detriment possibly of what they're working towards,
right?
Why would they just turn down his bass, or completely erase it? One might say,
right,
from the album, when he's clearly a good bass player.
Oh yeah, he's very good. Because they're dicks.
Yeah, but I mean, it's like, that is the ultimate example of like cutting off your nose to spite your face.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
I mean.
Yeah, that is, I think, a distinct thing that is keeping that album from being as great as it possibly could be, is the fact that there is no bass on it whatsoever.
It's so weird.
Yeah.
And I think, I think those songs are, like, the best songwriting I've heard by them. At least, personally, like, my personal taste. I love the way they wrote the songs on that album.
It's definitely a peak. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But it's like, that'd be like if you or I were, like you wrote a comic and I was the penciler, and I was like, I know, I'm going to, like, empty all the ink out of our inker's ink pen since he's just now joining our creative team. And then our album, our comic will look so much worse than it possibly could.
Right.
Because he's the new guy and he deserves it. It's just so weird. Like, why would they not do everything else but that?
Right, yeah. That is a major fuck you to him there. And it, like, other than, the sort of distinction and possibility of getting rich and famous, why wouldn't Jason Newsted just leave at that minute?
Yeah, really. Unless maybe there's something we don't know, like, like he accidentally did a lot of, like, between notes his fingers would slide and you hear that awful scraping sound. Yeah. And they were just like, damn it! This guy, all we're hearing is flotsam and jetsam all over this thing. But I'm guessing that couldn't be the case. So
you would think, yeah.
He knows what he's doing.
Right. Yeah, it's a professionl recording situation.
Yeah, they could get rid of any imperfections.
Yeah, then say, hey, play these two notes. And then we'll just put it back into the mix, edit it together. Because that's what the recording process basically is.
Right. Or like they could have even been like, you know what? Fuck it. I'm playing it myself.
Yeah.
You know, I'm sure James Hetfield knows how to play a bass.
Oh yeah, he does. I've the one time I saw them live, he did a bass solo.
Really?
Yeah.
In one take?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. And I think James Hetfield could be Metallica. Like I don't think he needs those other guys.
Like if he was like Bob Pollard and just had a lo-fi recording studio.
Yeah, I'm sure he he's got the talent and the ability to do it all himself if he wanted to anyway.
Right.
But they are a band, and he has never given the pretense that like he always has involved Lars and Kirk throughout the beginning.
Right. Yeah.
So yeah, it's just like a super dick move.
Yeah. It's so weird.
Yeah, like there's I think one song on that album that has bass in it.
Right.
Eye of the Beholder, which I think that is like the only one that Newsted gets a co-writing credit on.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Huh. Maybe they're like, well, he co-wrote this one. We'll let him sound through just a little bit. It's so weird.
I would, because I know recently they, I think they got the masters back from their studio, from their recording contract.
Oh, right.
So they now like 100% own like all of their
back catalog
and everything, and they've parted ways with their record company and are starting their own. So I wonder if it's a thing where maybe they'll go back and remaster some of those older ones.
You gotta think the fans would be interested in that.
Right.
I mean, like, I would purchase that.
I would. Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
I would love to hear that. Because I mean, I wouldn't do that if it was on any of their other albums, but I just love that album.
Right, yeah.
So yeah, I would love to hear what it was supposed to sound like.
Right, especially that now, since the movie came out, the Some Kind of Monster, and then that, after he left, they've decided to actually show him, like, the respect that he probably should have had the entire time he was in that band.
Yeah, like they had him come up for one of the songs on the live thing.
2 or 3 songs there.
Yeah. The live set that we heard. And it was cool. Like, they seemed to, like, have fun, and, it didn't seem like just a showy, like, okay, we'll get that out of the way.
Right. And I think they've, like, other than that, they've invited him, like, to, like, things, they, like, he performed with them when they were inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
Oh, okay.
So it's not like they've, like, are denying that he was ever in the band or anything.
They're not shunning him or anything.
Right, yeah, they do seem to now realize that he was an integral part of that band's success.
Right. Oh, yeah.
Because, I mean, when you think about it, he was in that band like 10 times longer than Cliff Burton was.
Right, yeah.
And yet still had to continuously live in that shadow the entire time, which is super unfair. And, like, that's not me trying to say anything bad about Cliff Burton.
Yeah.
Because I definitely don't want to do that.
Right.
Because Cliff Burton was awesome.
Right.
But,
It's just a strange thing.
Right.
It's a very strange thing.
So yeah, maybe they will do something like that. And it'd be,
We'll at least illegally download it.
Right, yeah.
So if you hear that, Metallica, that should be reason enough to make that happen. This has been Metallica Talk.
Yep. Hey, I'm always willing to talk about Metallica.
Yeah.
Because I was a huge fan, for such a long time, and not being a fan of something now that I was such a huge fan of is like kind of heartbreaking to me.
Right? Yeah. I mean, you're still
I'm still a fan, sort of, but definitely not, like if they were playing at like Hank's Pub down the street, like for 10 people only, I would not think about even bothering to go there.
Right. You wouldn't put your name in the raffle.
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
Because, well, I wouldn't do that for any band because I don't leave the house anymore. But Yeah, I like them still. I definitely respect their output and their music. I just have no respect for definitely Lars and a little bit James.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, personally, I'm not a fan of the direction they went, like, starting with the Black Album. Like, I can tolerate the Black Album, but to me, it sounds like it's just a completely different band. And I, I could listen to it, but I don't love it. But the stuff after that, I don't hate it, but it's just not interesting to me. Like, it just sounds like decent, like, heavy music.
Right.
But nothing that makes me really want to.
I like the music that they did after the Black Album. I thought, definitely the Black Album is their most slick and polished stuff.
The Bob Rock years.
Yeah. But even like Load and Reload and the stuff that followed, with maybe the exception of Death Magnetic.
And Lulu.
Huh?
And Lulu.
And yeah, I don't even recognize that thing exists. But like, yeah, the Load and Reload and Saint Anger, I think they're all fine. I think Load and Reload definitely are them just trying to experiment as being a band.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, you can't be in your 40s and playing the same shit that you were 30 years prior,
Tell that to Kerry King.
Yeah, well. But even Slayer has, not as drastically, but they've also evolved over the years.
No, I mean, I respect that. I mean, because, yeah, like you said, it would be maybe just kind of sad if they put out a dozen of the same exact album.
Right.
But my personal taste is, like, oh, well, it's cool they tried something, but what they did wasn't something that I liked.
That's fine. But yeah, I enjoy a lot of songs on those two albums, and I think Saint Anger is an album that I hated initially, but then grew to love, sort of.
Okay.
But I think that was also sort of the beginning of their everybody complains about our new sound, so let's try to go back to the old sound, but at the same time still trying to maintain some sort of evolutionary
right.
style. But then, it sort of just hit the wall when they did Death Magnetic.
Right.
And it's just like, hey, let's just reuse all these riffs that we once wrote.
Exactly. Yeah, because the first time I heard that, I was like, I like some of those riffs. And then you were like, yeah, it's because you liked them on Master of Puppets or on Ride the Lightning. It's like, oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah. I don't know. Yeah, I'll definitely check out anything new they put out. But going back to the original thing, I would totally get a remastered with bass.
Yeah.
And Justice for All.
With Jason's bass.
Yeah. Not Robert or James.
I mean, I'm sure that would be interesting.
Bob Rock. Replacing them. Yeah.
I'm sure even those would be like, that sounds different, and maybe that's what it was supposed to sound like. But yeah, I would just love to hear the original recording.
Yeah, exactly. Man, how shitty would it be if they re-recorded all of all of the bass lines from Kill 'Em All on, just with Robert Trujillo doing the part.
Right.
Yeah, like replacing all of Cliff's stuff with
Or if they remastered Injustice for All, but they didn't add the bass, they just cleaned up Lars' snare drum. This is what it was supposed to sound like. It always bothered me, that tinny snare drum.
I guess, well, in that live show that we did listen to when they brought Jason up on stage, James makes a joke, but at the same time, there seemed like there was a grain of truth in there, where he says, oh great, 2 basses, my worst nightmare.
Yeah.
I have a feeling maybe they don't appreciate a low-end sound.
Maybe that's what it is.
Yeah.
Maybe that is what it is.
I don't know.
Interesting.
Yeah. Hey, we've been doing this for 15 minutes now. Let's maybe talk about the comic we're supposed to be talking about.
All right.
If we want. I don't care. I'll talk about Metallica all night.
I don't mind talking about Metallica. I kind of said my thing. I've been thinking about that ever since we heard that show, and I was like, yeah, he's on there, and it's just such a weird thing.
It is, yeah.
It's strange.
But it's also a thing that happened, 15, 20 years ago
Oh,
at this
yeah.
point now. So
At least, probably.
yeah, almost
I think that was probably before I worked at
20 years
Mavericks.
ago, 20,
Yeah.
23 years ago, yeah. So like 88, 89, is that when that album came out? Maybe 87?
I think, yeah, 80, 87, 88,
Yeah.
something like that.
So it's been a while.
Yeah, it's been a while. We were kids.
Yeah. And they were too.
They were.
And now, like us, they are old men.
And like us, they are filthy rich.
That is right. So hey, The Coffin,
The Coffin.
by Phil Hester and Mike Huddleston.
4-issue miniseries, Oni Press.
Yeah,
2000.
yes. I told the story of my my life story about me and this book together.
Yeah.
Now, I never read it up until now because I didn't have an issue for almost a decade.
And you found it at my comic shop?
I did not ever find it at your comic shop.
Oh, no, I meant the website. My comic shop.
Yes, I found it on the website.
Yeah.
mycomicshop.com.
Yeah.
Yeah. You should probably have followed that up with a .com.
.com.
Yeah.
I assume everything's .com these days.
We're not.
GutterTrash.com. That's where I always go when I listen to the episodes.
You are not listening to our episodes. then.
That's probably why I'm not.
So yeah. So does a book that I've had in my collection for 10, 12 years, does it live up to the hype that it could have possibly have built in my head that entire time?
Well, were you? No, you weren't for. You weren't for a decade, like sitting around going, "I'm waiting for the perfect moment." Like, in all honesty, you probably just kind of forgot about it, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Good.
I would forget about it, and then I would do sort of like an every couple of years, move, at least just move some comics around, and I would find it,
Right.
and then remember that, oh yeah, I still don't have that issue number 3 or whatever it was, and and then forget about it again, and then until like 2 years ago or a year ago when I finally bought it, and then I have had it for like a year, and again, it's been sitting,
Just chilling.
off to the side, and then I keep looking at it. It's like, oh yeah, I'm gonna pick that for an episode so that we can read it, so I can finally read this.
I have a stack just like that, actually. Yeah. Of like stuff I've owned for years and like pieced together, and
Right.
I'm like, okay, I can finally read this and go to trash sometime.
So no, there was no like me, I gotta desperately read this, but
Because that may have been disappointing.
yeah, it would have been. But I was not disappointed with this book at all.
Yeah.
It's not the greatest book I've ever read, obviously, but it's fine.
Yeah.
It's a perfectly good book.
It is. It's like, it reminds me, man, tangent already. I'm sorry.
It reminds you of Metallica.
Yeah, I was listening to Metallica. No, I actually was listening to our show the other day, and I just
What?
noted. I know. I it's only because there's this guy that emailed me and said he listened to it, and we were talking about the Beatles, and I went back to listen to see what we said and everything, and I realized I don't know if I was a Valley girl in a previous life, but I say the word like every 4 to 6 seconds. Because I just said it like a minute ago, and that's what made me think of it.
And you also just said it right
Oh
now.
my god, did I really? Oh.
This is why I don't recommend listening to our show.
For us or for anyone?
Well, definitely you and me.
Right.
A general sort of audience probably shouldn't listen anyway.
Yeah.
But definitely you and I should not. Because I listen to a show, and because I used to listen to them when
You edited at the beginning.
at the beginning I would edit. I would actually edit, or like even when I stopped editing, like I would listen to them just to make sure it sounded okay, and then to see that we're not total asses like in an episode.
Right.
Until I just
Went on.
decided that fuck that.
Right. See David Healy.
Just listening to your own voice and what you sound like and like what is a normal conversation, is a terrible thing to do to yourself.
Yeah, it's kind of similar to just checking yourself out naked in the mirror.
Yeah.
As soon as you wake up.
Shouldn't.
Right.
Yeah. Because, I notice I hate the sound of my voice. I sound like an idiot. I sound like just a nasally retard. Hillbilly, almost.
I think everybody thinks the same way about themselves.
Yeah, well, not specifically that.
Maybe not like Casey Kasem or one of those
Right,
smooth like butter voice people, but
I think I have a smooth like butter voice.
Oh,
but
yeah.
Then I listen to it and I'm just like, no, this is awful. Stop it. Like when I hear myself speak, I hear the sound of the voice of the guy who works with me in my office, who I can't stand.
oh, that's unfortunate.
And you know who that is.
Yeah.
What I'm talking about. And I hate that fact. And I also say like a lot, and
I didn't notice you saying it.
I say it quite a bit, and I say generally a lot, and truthfully, and I'm sure a whole bunch of other shit that.
Oh, we're terrible. Yeah,
Oh, yeah, we're awful.
Yeah, this is what
We
we're
are
boiling
awful,
down to. Yeah, yeah, we're not good at what we do.
No, yeah,
But we're paid accordingly, so it works out.
exactly.
I just couldn't believe I'm such a Valley girl. But you know what? Fuck it. That's who I am.
Yeah,
I'm a Valley girl.
We're idiots.
Yeah.
We've established that. Go listen to the Christmas episode. We are the dumbest men alive.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Eric just explained to me that there was something called the Holocaust in the 20s. When was it?
It was the 60s.
The 60s. It happened at Altamont, New York, I believe. Oh gosh. But yeah, so I'm sorry. Anyway,
No, it's okay.
I say like so much.
Yeah.
Guys at home, girls at home, make it a drinking game. Every time I say like, every time one of us says something retarded, or I say like.
Right now we're 23 minutes in, and these people might be dead.
Yeah. Overdosed on whatever they're.
Alcohol poisoning.
That's what we're here for.
Yep. The Coffin.
So, Phil Hester, what did he do? Green Arrow?
He is primarily known as an artist, I believe.
Okay.
Yes, he did draw Green Arrow for a while.
I know the name, but I couldn't. I didn't look him up, but I recognize his name.
Yeah, I believe he drew Kevin Smith's run, and
That's what it was. Okay, I read some of it.
Even after Smith left, he drew that for quite a while. Don't hold me to it. I think he drew Grant Morrison and Mark Miller's run on Swamp Thing,
Really?
and continued on working with Mark Miller on that book.
Okay.
He drew the Irredeemable Ant-Man with Robert Kirkman.
Wow.
And he's just drawn quite a bit of stuff here and there.
That's interesting because you hardly ever see an artist take on the writing chores unless they're also drawing the book.
Right.
That's kind of odd, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't happen often.
Yeah, unless like it's a Frank Miller or someone like
Yeah.
that. You know, like someone who, I mean, no offense to Phil Hester, but someone who is a bigger name in the industry.
Right.
And again, I think Phil Hester's a great artist.
Mm-hmm.
Like I've always liked his stuff. It's very clean and dynamic, and it's drawn well, and he's got a distinct style. Like I can always recognize a Phil Hester drawing when I see it. He wrote and drew The Wretch.
Yeah,
If you
okay.
remember that book.
I do remember that. I never read it, but.
But yeah. So it is a little weird to see that occasionally, but I guess he's been writing quite a bit actually.
Mm-hmm.
Like he currently writes Guardians of the Globe for Robert Kirkman.
That's him?
Yeah.
Okay.
Also drawn by other people. I think he wrote something for like Witchblade or The Darkness or
Really?
something like that for a while.
Does he no longer draw?
I know he does draw occasionally, but I haven't seen anything that he has drawn. Like,
Since the Green Arrow or something?
no, I mean, Ant-Man came out after that for sure.
That's right. Yeah.
And I follow him on Twitter, so I know occasionally he posts, like something that he's drawing. But
That's cool. That's
Yeah.
cool that he's diverse like that.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, because those are,
And he's good at it.
yeah,
You know,
yeah,
I mean,
those are two really, you know, I don't know, separate kind of things. I mean, I think cartooning is one thing, like where you write and draw, and it has like your world, your feel. But I mean, if he's writing like superhero books and sci-fi books and drawing horror books, and I mean, that's awesome that he can do that.
Diverse.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, not everybody's at one thing.
I'm a one-trick pony over here.
Yeah, that is true.
I draw myself. I write about myself. That's all I know.
But no, I mean, he obviously, has talent, as a writer and an artist in order to do that, and why would you? I mean, I understand the comic industry is all, mostly superheroes. So, like, that's, if you want to make money, that's the one thing that you have to do.
Right.
And so, I mean, but, if you have the opportunity to do stuff outside of it, why wouldn't you?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, like, I like superheroes, but I don't want to read superheroes every day. And, like, as a creator, even though I don't do anything anymore, like, very few of my ideas, involve superheroes or even if they do, like, I have other ideas outside of that.
Right.
Because,
Yeah.
I mean, that kind of thing is what keeps you, sharp.
Right.
Yeah.
That's interesting, though.
Yeah. But I think obviously I don't know Phil Hester's, entire life story or anything, but I think maybe outside of The Wretch, this is like one of his first bigger writing things since then.
Okay.
So I think he was primarily known as just an artist for a while when this book came out. And I remember buying it because I thought the concept sounded neat and I thought the art looked gorgeous.
Yeah.
And I did, vaguely recognize Phil Hester's name.
Right.
Because I think at that point I had read, his run on Swamp Thing. So, like probably that's where it
clicked.
You're right.
Yeah. I love the art in this book. Which is not by Phil Hester, but
Right.
Mike Huddleston.
Yeah.
I'm not familiar with him.
I know. I think he is the guy. He did a book with Joe Casey last year, or at least it finished coming out last year, called Butcher Baker something. It was an Image book.
Okay.
Yeah.
We probably didn't get it.
Probably not. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I've seen his name around, but yeah, he definitely has never really been an A-lister or anything. But
he's paid his dues.
Yeah. And I think I read like some book that he drew. I think it was him. Maybe it wasn't. I can't remember. There was a book I read called Nemnivore or something like that.
Oh, the Vertigo thing?
Yeah. And I think he drew that, but don't hold me to that. But I think his art is great.
Oh my gosh. It's like super powerful black and white illustration. Like there's so many pages on here that I think would be just great on a wall.
Right, yeah.
I mean, he just has very powerful imagery. Like there's a few points where I thought his storytelling was clunky. Like there was a couple things where I was like, I don't really know what's going on, but it looks amazing.
Right.
Or like the transition from panel to panel seemed like jumpy or something.
Right.
So I think he's a much better illustrator than a storyteller.
Right.
But I don't think the story suffered because of that. I mean, there's
right.
It was just, I don't know. I just think he's got very powerful imagery.
No, I totally get that. And also, you have to realize that this was 12 years ago when he drew it. So,
right, yeah.
He could have...
I'm sure he's better.
I'm sure he's better, and hell, he may have even a completely different style than he has and that he drew this book in, But, I mean, the style of it is great.
Yeah.
And it's a style that I don't know that I'm like a huge fan of nowadays. Mm-hmm. Like I definitely like to see work that's more cartoony and exaggerated, and this is definitely more realistic looking.
I think I like the way everything in here looks other than normal people. Like like every background and every robot and every, animal. I guess it was like a
Right.
robot animal, but, and like everything I think looks amazing. Other than the people just look kind of like, frozen or kind of
It's
stiff.
very, very static until, like, yeah, the more fantastical elements come into play.
Right. Yeah.
Which I think is the same for a lot of artists who work in that, pseudo-realistic style,
Yeah.
or hyper-realistic or whatever,
Right.
which is why I've never liked, like Jim Lee or Alex Ross or anything like that. I recognize that they're very good artists. I just don't like
That realistic.
that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it can look very posed and stiff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah. Stiff.
But every artist, when given the chance to draw robots or monsters or whatever,
Yeah.
shines because you just go nuts.
Yeah. Exactly.
And so, so like the pages where it's like just robot on robot action.
Or like demons and souls,
Yeah,
souls leaving bodies, and
Yeah, that all looks great. And like the negatives that I'm saying, at least, I'm not saying that makes this book bad. I'm just saying that it, like, you can see the potential that he has with like all those other things, and then like when it's just people talking, it's just sort of like, it's just people talking.
yeah, exactly.
But it doesn't detract at all, I think.
Right.
Because it is all, to get the story moving along as well.
Yeah. Yeah. Which the story is, I'd say, a huge part of why this book is cool.
Oh, yeah.
Do you want to tell the story?
Sure.
Encapsulate?
I will try. But yeah, like I said, when I first heard of this book, I read the concept of it, and I thought, well, that sounds cool. And basically, it's about a scientist who discovers a way to sort of capture the human soul inside of a sort of robotic shell that allows that person to then sort of continue to live inside of that shell. It's basically like a walking, talking, moving coffin.
Yeah.
The dead body is stored in there, and the soul remains within the coffin and is allowed to continue to sort of live.
As long as it doesn't seep out.
Exactly, yeah. And so there's a crazed bajillionaire who is...
They always are crazed, aren't they?
They are, yeah.
Every bajillionaire I know.
Yep.
Slightly crazed.
Yep. Some more than others.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. This one is definitely at the far end of the crazed spectrum.
Just like Jack at Maverick.
Yep.
Crazed gazillionaire.
Right. He's funding this project because he essentially wants to live forever, and I think it turns out that he's like well over 100 years old at least.
Right. I think they said like 140 something
like that. Yeah. And so when the scientist refuses to turn over the project, he has the scientist killed and tries to create his own version of the coffin. But the scientist winds up surviving just long enough to get inside of his prototype, and the story goes from there.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, he kind of becomes, because the scientist is not a very likable guy.
No, he's a dick.
Yeah,
he's a dick verging on evil.
Yeah. Like he's not as bad as the gajillionaire,
Right.
But he's not likable. And then he kind of gets in the suit and
Well, as he is trying to get into the suit, he essentially has a near-death experience.
which is how the story opens. It's like
Right.
a flash forward, I guess it is.
Something like that, yeah. And like part of it is told as a flashback, at least in the first issue. But yeah, so he gets confronted by basically hell
Yeah.
and the devil, basically informing him of what a terrible person he is.
Yeah. Yeah.
And as he, I mean, I wanted to say as he saves his own life, but he does die.
Yeah, yeah,
You get into the coffin, you die.
yeah.
But because your soul is still in it, he lives in a way. But he then takes that opportunity to sort of try to redeem himself, because one of his biggest crimes is that he has completely abandoned and neglected his daughter.
Right.
Just for the pursuit of science, but also just because he's
kind of a dick.
he's just a dick.
Yeah. And yeah, at that point it kind of becomes like an EC Comics or maybe even a heavy metal version of It's a Wonderful Life.
Yeah.
With the devil, like that
Right,
scene.
yeah,
at least. And I think that's one of my favorite things in the entire series is the imagery that the demon or the devil is showing him.
Right.
Like the circle of hell where the people who were just obsessed with sex and lust during their life.
Right.
They're just these endlessly fornicating skeletons
Right.
that get no physical pleasure, but just and then like he describes the sound of their bones just grinding against each other in every possible sexual position, and you see this like massive orgy of skeletons.
Right.
And I was like, why is that not an album cover? If we ever get our band together, Skeleton Orgy is the name of the album.
I'm in.
And we'll contact Mike Huddleston and see what he's doing.
Hell yeah.
And recreate that panel. But yeah, I love that scene. I forget what some of the other circles were, but I just thought that was a really cool scene.
Yeah, the whole devil imagery comes up, a couple times throughout the series, and each time it's just impressive.
Oh yeah.
And by the time that the scientist gets into the coffin, and he basically is a robot walking around, like I think the art definitely takes off, where it to its potential.
Right. Yeah, I mean the human dialogue scenes need to be there, but it seems like his style doesn't serve those scenes as well.
Right. Well, he definitely, at least in this book, definitely favors heavy shadows.
Oh yeah,
and just lots of blacks and solids and
the series is black and white. I don't know if we ever said that or not, but yeah, it's got a very cool noir horror kind of shadowy look to it.
So whenever there's just people talking, it could definitely has to pull back on that so that everyone
you
is
can
not
what's going on.
And that everyone is not just some sort of menacing monster.
And the old guy, because he's super wrinkled, he looks interesting throughout the series because of all the shadows on the wrinkled face he's got. But everybody else just kind of, I don't know. It's not terrible. I couldn't draw humans that well. But it's just,
it's not the style that you and I prefer when we're reading,
exactly,
comics about, well, like the action scenes or whatever, we definitely want more Kirby, less Neil Adams.
Yeah, exactly.
And again, not to say that Neil Adams is a bad artist at all.
Right.
It's just that there's definitely a different dynamic, and we prefer one over the other.
Yeah. It's just a choice, though.
I'm
sure some people could look at this and be like, man, he should just draw humans all the time.
Well, yeah. And 12 years ago, this was the style of art that I preferred over, anything else, and that's why I initially fell in love with the art then, and again, not to say that the art is bad at all, because it's not. It's pretty fucking great.
It's great. Yeah, there's, like I said, I'm sure there's a dozen pages out of here that I would love to have one of and, and just hanging on my wall. It's beautiful stuff.
Yeah, I don't know if there's like a lot of spreads or not, but like I definitely feel like I remember seeing like at least one like double page spread that was just like robots and stuff, I'm looking at the splash page here of just like
the first issue,
skulls and monsters and tentacles, and it's just fucking amazing. And like the covers are all like they're painted, but like they're all like awesome in their own way. But like the second issue has like like all these souls like escaping from inside the coffin body, and it just looks awesome.
Like humans and animals and
yeah,
it's beautiful. Is that third one? Is that cover by the same artist? It
I
looks.
don't know.
It almost looks like Ashley Wood style. I mean, not Ashley Wood, but in that vein.
Right. Yeah, I get you. And even the fourth issue looks like it's drawn by someone completely different as well.
Kind of has more of a manga-ish,
I wouldn't say that. I would say more I think it reminds me more of like Sean Phillips.
Okay, yeah.
Just that sort of kind of splattery, messy, inky style where like everything in the interior is like super clean.
Right, yeah.
But I don't know. I did not look at the cover credits for all of them.
Yeah.
But they're all fun.
And they've never done a sequel to this, have they?
Not a sequel, but they did work together again on another book that I also own. That also
You're missing one issue.
I was missing 2 issues, and it took me forever to find them. Called Deep Sleeper.
Oh, yeah. I didn't know it was those guys.
Yeah.
Those have some of the best designed covers.
Oh yeah, they're great.
Yeah.
But yeah, like the first issue was like an Oni book, and then like it disappeared for a while, and then the second issue eventually came out, but it was from Image.
Huh.
And then like I was never able to find like issue 3 and 4 until again also last year.
Okay.
When I bought the third issue of this one.
Yeah, I never read Deeper Sleeper?
Deep Sleeper.
Deep Sleeper.
I also have never read it. It is sitting right next to where this book was as a potential future read.
Sweet.
Which I won't pick for my next book because we just read this one. Right.
Well, I mean, based
so
on
like
this,
a year from now,
right?
Maybe I'll pick that one.
Based on this, I would be excited to read that.
Yeah.
I mean, especially to see how, like, what kind of changes or
right.
growth the artists and writers have had.
But I don't think they worked together after that though, which is kind of a shame.
Yeah.
Yeah. But hey, you got to do what you got to do. You gotta get the work where you can.
Gotta pay those bills.
Yeah, I can't imagine that this book or Deep Sleeper were like huge successes.
Right.
Probably closer to just like cult hits.
There's like a paragraph in the beginning of the first book where Phil Hester, I think it's Phil Hester, talking about it, and he's like, yeah, and he's like, whether you bought this off the newsstand or you're buying it in a quarter box years later, I hope you enjoy it. And
right. Yeah.
I was like, yeah, he's being realistic.
Yeah. He seems to, like, definitely on Twitter anyway, seems to be very self-deprecating towards his own work and definitely has that sort of thing that you and I have a lot, which is
giant penises.
Giant penises. And, but yet still no self-confidence in our own work.
That is weird.
Yeah. But you'd think that the giant penis thing would totally counter that.
Yeah.
It doesn't.
I mean, look at these things. We've got them laying out here on the carpet right now. They're amazing.
Yeah.
Glistening in the winter light.
Yep.
Yeah.
But yet, when we're done here and I drag it back out to the couch to draw some more, I'm just going to be upset and frustrated because the drawing's not going to look right as my penis just drapes over the edge of the couch.
Right. Embarrassing.
Yeah.
We're not in proportion. That's what the problem is.
Yeah.
We're beautiful, just in a Frankenstein kind of way. Yeah, but I enjoyed it. I mean, like you said earlier, I wouldn't say it's amazing.
No.
But it's a very entertaining.
It's very solid. It has elements of 50s horror and sci-fi
definitely.
that are definitely awesome.
I could see this being like a Tales from the Crypt or something like that.
Oh
episode.
yeah.
Twilight Zone even.
Yeah.
Like a sci-fi Twilight Zone.
Yeah, because it does even have that sort of that core concept of Twilight Zone, which is a nice try, asshole.
Yeah. Maybe Jason Newsted was on an episode of Twilight Zone his entire life. He's like, I want to be in a famous rock and roll band. And they're like, all right, sign here. It's like, I'm going to record a bass track on an album that's going to sell millions of copies. And no one will hear it.
Oh, I should credit that nice try, asshole joke to comedian Dana Gould is where I heard that.
Dana Gould.
Dana Gould.
Okay.
Former writer for The Simpsons. And, I heard a bit of his stand-up where he basically said that every episode of Twilight Zone is nice try, asshole.
He's right.
Yeah,
I was like running through a few in my brain, and I was like, yeah.
Not every episode, but quite a few.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Everyone, I've thought of like 6 in the last 2 minutes, and yes, every one of them.
And yeah, this book definitely has a touch of that.
Yeah.
Mostly from the bad guy, But
it doesn't have as dark of an ending as I thought it was going to have.
no, yeah, like relatively happy ending.
Relatively.
Yeah. It does end weird.
Yeah.
Like it just sort of ends, and then like the next page is like a weird epilogue.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
like if anything, like, and I'm not usually the person to say this, but it could have maybe been an issue longer.
Yeah. I could see that.
Because I definitely felt like between issues 3 and 4, like I missed something. Like,
Oh yeah, there's a scene where after he's got into the armor and he's escaped, and then like the next issue I'm like, whoa, wait a minute, I'm like, what happened?
yeah, it does happen there too. Yeah, there do seem to be like just missing scenes that you seem, and I guess
They don't need to be there.
they don't need to be there because it is just him getting to his ultimate destination,
Right.
But yeah, it does seem like there's some elements that maybe had to be pulled out of the book in order just to get it within the 4-issue framework.
Right. It's kind of like if you're watching a season of a TV show and then the next season starts and the main character is like propelled along in the storyline,
Right.
and you're like, what happened? And
Right.
it's eventually explained, but yeah, you're right. It could have been a 6 or 7 issue series probably.
Yeah. I know, because maybe you didn't hear this, but it was very difficult for me to track some issues of this book down.
Yeah, I remember.
But I think, I don't know if Oni or IDW last year or 2 years ago put out a 10th anniversary edition version.
Oh yeah.
So it is readily available out there in collected form.
Okay, I did not know
I
that.
don't know if there's like any extra stuff in that or not, but if you feel like checking out this book, you can probably do it pretty well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You go to Amazon or your local comic book shop.
Yeah.
Or
Or mycomicshop.com if those don't work.
cool.
Yeah, I was glad that I was not disappointed in this book.
Right. After waiting so long.
Yeah.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, the art is great, and that helps, and the story is really solid.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I mean, yeah, there's elements of this that I like that are taken from like a whole bunch of other stuff that I like.
Oh yeah, definitely. It's
And,
a good book.
I look forward. I wish there was a sequel. Or I don't know if I wish there was a sequel because it does end, but it does leave it open.
Yeah,
at the same time.
there could be like even maybe not necessarily like if the same creators didn't want to do it, if they could pass the character on to somebody else.
Right,
I'm sure you could do something else with it.
Yeah. But yeah, well, I look forward to reading Deep Sleeper at some point. And I when I was reading this, I was kind of thinking that this could lend itself to a movie very easily as well. That'd be kind of cool to see.
Like an animated movie or a real life actors movie.
Either or. Probably actors.
Yeah.
I think the main problem would be trying to differentiate to the character design from Iron Man.
Yeah, it's similar. He's got this.
But I think that's a problem with dudes in robot suits.
Right.
I mean, like all the pictures from the new RoboCop movie, everybody's like, it's just Iron Man in black. So, no one is ever going to win.
Haters gonna hate.
Haters going to hate. Yeah, Coffin.
Yeah, check it
Glad
out.
you liked it.
Yeah.
Yeah, glad I liked it.
Glad you picked it. Glad you found it.
Yeah.
So are you going to keep these? Or
Oh,
are you gonna
yeah,
put
of
these
course.
on the market?
No, I'm keeping them. I keep everything. I'm not like you.
I just return it.
Yep.
It's like, I get a big date lined up and I go to the local thrift store and buy myself a gown and return it after the date. Say, it made me itch in my privates and get my money back.
Don't know what you're talking about, but sounds like a good time to take a break.
Okay.
All right. The Coffin. Read it. It's fun.
It is. For a really dark, depressing comic.
Well, Yes.
Hey, welcome back to Gutter Trash.
Hello.
What's up?
Nothing. Nothing.
Oh. Happy Martin Luther King Jr. Day.
Happy MLK Day.
Yeah.
MLK 2.
MLK 2, the sequel.
Yeah. That will be, I think this episode will come out. It might come out tomorrow. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
On MLK 2 Day.
Right.
It may come out the day after. I don't know yet. But
So-
we're recording it the day before.
That's right. That's the
Yeah.
important part.
Do you have any big MLK 2 Day celebration plans?
I'm going to staple a bunch of comics together.
Sounds fantastic.
Yeah.
That it was part of his dream.
Just like the Reverend would have had me do.
Yep.
Yeah, not really. I mean, I do have to work. We're not closed, so, yeah.
Yeah. Cool.
It's my big plan.
Alrighty.
How about you?
I am gonna sleep in
Mm-hmm.
because I do not work. We are closed.
Nice. Congratulations.
Yeah, it was a shock to everybody. I honestly don't agree with it, but I'm not gonna argue with it when my boss tells me not to come into work.
Right. But elaborate. Why wouldn't you agree?
Because the Christmas and New Year's holidays were just 3 weeks ago,
Mm-hmm.
in which we had a considerable amount of days off already. And because the MLK2 or President's Day is a floating day off, we get one or the other.
Okay, and the other one's like a month from now, right?
Right, the President's Day is in February. Means that since we get this day off, we will now not have any days off until like May.
Right.
And I think if we have to get one of the days off, I'd rather have February day off, just to sort of break up.
Space it out a little.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
So it's not anything against the Reverend.
No, of course not.
Yeah.
No.
Okay. You're like, I'm working on that day. I don't care what they say. The South shall rise again. In fact, I'm going to Memphis tomorrow. No, that's terrible. I should have took it too far. Take it too far. I always do.
No, yeah, so that's my reasoning for that. But, again, my boss says don't come into work. I'm not going to come into work.
Right.
So I will celebrate the good Reverend's life by sleeping in and then hanging out here and probably watch movies, play video games, draw.
That sounds cool.
Any of those things.
That sounds great.
Yeah.
Sounds great.
Pretty much what I would do any normal Sunday or Saturday.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Just do it on a Monday.
So that is cool.
Yeah.
Wish I could join you.
Yeah, you'd be more than welcome to hang out.
Yeah.
And fart around and do nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd imagine I'm going to take a nap after my work tomorrow. Because I'm going to get up earlier than normal. Run some errands before work. And I think I'll probably be pretty sleepy.
Yeah, I might take a nap too. But just because, sitting around and cozy and just may lose consciousness.
Right, it happens.
Yeah. Just take a little cat nap.
So I don't have to get up early Tuesday. Tuesday's my day to sleep in.
Uh-huh.
Or at least be lazy. I get up and take care of my cat and my dog, and then I can be lazy, take a nap if I want.
Right.
So I might nap some tomorrow, and then nap some Tuesday morning. I'm part kitty cat.
Yeah.
Basically is what I'm saying.
Actually, I don't like to nap.
Really?
Yeah.
I love it.
I do not. I don't support naps. I think once you're awake, the only time I do nap is if just because I am so exhausted that I physically can't continue on, or just sort of like just pass out more than
It's not like you're planning on napping.
Right? Yeah.
It's just all of a sudden you're like, whoa.
Yeah.
What happened to the last 20 minutes?
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because the other day my friend came over and she was not feeling very well, and she had worked all day and I had gotten off at like noon, so I was well rested.
Mm-hmm.
And she was like, I don't think I can do anything tonight unless I take a nap. And she was like, you want to join? And I was like, no, because I can't sleep.
Right.
Can't sleep during the day unless I've been up for like 36 hours.
Right. Man, I love them. I love them.
If I go to bed, okay, let me put it this: I can nap. I just don't wake up from a nap.
Okay.
Yeah.
Your nap evolves into a slumber.
Yes.
Yeah.
You say, hey, it's 5 o'clock. I need to just get some shut eye and take a rest. I'm like, well, I'll see you in the morning.
Yeah. That's understandable.
Yeah.
It's just the way it works. The way it works. Yeah.
Do anything exciting this weekend?
Actually, Friday night I went to an art show.
What?
Yeah. I abandoned Mexican food night. And
And you didn't invite me.
you wouldn't have wanted to go. Actually, my friend Mark is moving to Hawaii in March.
Mm-hmm.
And he's
Yes, he is.
and yes. And he's having an art show. It was like downtown at the K-12 galleries in Dayton on 3rd Street, and we went down there and looked at his art. And he was there because it was the opening night or whatever, and it goes on for like a couple more weeks. But it was cool. It was really diverse. He does cartoon art, like comic strips. He's done some stuff for the History Channel. Like they do some online comics, and he's drawn a couple of those. And then he does a lot of paintings and stuff. So, it was really cool. So that was fun. Did that.
Cool.
And then we did some drawing on Saturday night.
Yeah, as always.
And
It
then,
is mostly.
and then today I did something exciting.
Ooh.
Kathleen is from the future.
Okay.
So she was able to use...
I know she smokes electronic cigarettes.
Yeah, it's a future thing. She had 3 computers going today at once. There's her phone, which is also a computer. There's her TV, which is also a computer. And then there's her laptop, which is also a computer.
And she has an actual computer.
And she has a computer, but we didn't even turn that one on because that's old.
What?
That's old. That's from years ago. But she used all these computers to let us watch a movie. We downloaded and paid for it legally, and watched a brand new movie that didn't make it to theaters anywhere near here because it's,
You mean sort of like we did 2 weeks ago?
Yeah, just like that. You're from the future too.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I get to watch it all happen.
That's the least exciting part of that.
It's like watching the wizard behind the Wizard of Oz curtain. You know?
Yeah, and he's just sitting there pressing levers and buttons, and then you just wait.
But isn't that more exciting than flying monkeys and Streets of Gold?
No. Are there Streets of Gold?
I think so, yeah.
I just thought it was the yellow brick road.
I think it's made out of gold.
Really?
I think it's gold bricks.
Huh.
I don't know, maybe it's not gold bricks.
I don't know.
Huh. That's something for the internet to answer, probably.
Probably, yeah. I'm gonna instantly forget.
I don't really care. Next time we see Scotty Young at a convention, we'll just ask him.
All right.
He's had to draw that fucker 1,000 times.
But anyway, yeah. So you watched your girlfriend download something for 2
yeah,
hours.
Yeah. No, and then we watched Save the Date, the romantic comedy that Jeffrey Brown co-wrote. Comics artist Jeffrey Brown.
Right.
So yeah, and it was cool. I enjoyed it. I mean, you would probably hate it.
Oh yeah,
because it's a rom-com. But
I know that there's people I like in it.
Yeah. Well, I didn't recognize like one or two people. I was like, that looks familiar, but I don't know.
Right.
And after we were done, she was like, oh well, then you have to watch an episode of Freaks and Geeks. And we watched an episode of Freaks and Geeks, and I could not believe that it was like the same guy. It was like the super nerdy kid. I think his name's Bill in Freaks and Geeks.
I've never seen it.
He was like
never will.
Oh, really? It's really good.
You may be thinking about, he's the guy that plays the super nerdy guy on NTSF SVSUD.
Is he?
SD SUV.
Maybe. I don't know. I can't remember him from that, but maybe.
All I know is Martin Starr, who is on both of those shows, is in that movie.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, it was cool, though. It was cool.
I know Lizzie Kaplan and Alison Brie are in that movie.
Yeah.
I will never see it. I like all three of those people. I will never see it. I like
Really?
Jeffrey Brown. I will never see that movie.
Huh.
But I'm glad you enjoyed it.
What if you liked it? You
It doesn't matter. I'm not going to see it.
Okay. Awesome. Well, yeah, I totally enjoyed it. It was cool because, I mean, there's a lot of Jeffrey Brown artwork throughout the movie, too.
Right.
Because one of the characters is an artist, and when she's drawing, it's that. And yeah, I mean, it was just neat. It was cool.
So it was a lie.
It was a terrible lie. Actually, we brought that up during the movie. Kathleen mentioned, she said, I'm having a hard time with suspension of disbelief for the characters because, like, she's very familiar with the art of Jeffrey Brown.
Right.
And when you see, like, a Jeffrey Brown drawing and it pans back and there's a lady drawing it, you're like, no, she's not.
Right, yeah. Yeah. It's like when I watched the Oliver Stone movie, The Hand, and saw Michael Caine drawing Barry Windsor Smith art.
Yeah, it's exactly. In fact, I think it's the same script. They just redid it. They just added a wedding. So if you liked that, you might want to watch it.
All right, I'm in.
Yeah. Did you like that? Did you like The Hand?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I haven't seen it.
So it's I know this word is almost antithetical to saying an Oliver Stone movie, but it's fun.
Oh, that caught me off guard. I love some Oliver Stone movies. Oliver Stone movies. But yeah, totally. Yeah. Although I think Natural Born Killers is pretty fun. And I mean, it's super preachy and spots, but there's some really fun parts of that movie.
I've only ever seen that movie once, and I liked it enough, but never again to watch it.
Really? Actually, I saw it in the theater when I was like 16, and I've seen it a bunch of times. I just rewatched it, I don't know, a couple months ago on VHS at my house, and I thought it was still great. The soundtrack is one of my favorite soundtracks ever. Like there's like some Leonard Cohen and L7 and Lard and
right. I like that Lard song.
Yeah, all kinds of good stuff.
It's I thought it was a fine movie when I saw it when it was out on video, whenever that was. Watched it with my parents.
Right.
I honestly don't know that. I think it would just annoy the crap out of me if I tried to watch it.
Yeah, there was a couple parts when I was watching. I was like, oh, that gets a little preachy, especially the very ending where there's like all these clips of like, it was very relevant at the time, but I mean, there's like clips of like O.J. Simpson and Tanya Harding and
Right,
Rodney
yeah.
King, and it's like that didn't need to be in there.
Right.
I mean, that because it's
It
I mean,
instantly dates that movie.
right.
Yeah.
I mean, it was a comment on society at the time, and I get that, but
Right.
that choice sort of made it lose a little something. I think.
Right. So to go back to like the movie we watched last week, God Bless America.
Yeah.
You know, like I really liked it, and I watched it again just this past Friday, and still liked it. You know, my friend, I kind of wanted her to see it because, you know, like I said, I thought she might
Get she likes that humor, maybe.
She likes the humor
Yeah.
and she could, you know, sympathize, you know, with the mindset.
Right.
But, you know, watching it again, I did think that, 10 years from now, that movie is gonna be like a Natural Born Killers thing where, with all the references to American Idol and like all the reality shows, you know.
Dear God, I hope so.
That would be awesome. Yeah. In that way. But yeah, it also will mean that, you know, that movie is not going to hold up
Right.
as much.
Yeah.
You know, because who fucking knows? It could just be 20 times more worse by that
Oh,
point anyway.
Can you imagine? How horrible
Which
would that be?
it probably will be. So, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I watched quite a few movies this weekend myself.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Any stellar?
Watched God Bless America.
Yeah.
Yeah. But before that, like I said, I got off early on Friday afternoon, so I went out and saw a movie. And I saw a movie called Mama, which is a horror movie produced by Guillermo del Toro.
Ooh, Mr. DT.
Yeah. And it was pretty good. Not bad at all.
Mm-hmm.
Just like a spooky ghost story kind of thing.
Yeah.
And it was, I mean, you go see a spooky ghost story, you kind of want spooky ghosts, and that's what this movie delivers.
Sweet.
So, I mean, it was like bare minimum. This is
Right.
what I wanted.
It's
And
perfect.
it was very good. You know, sort of similar to, you know, when you and I saw The Orphanage, you know, which is,
Oh, yeah.
you know,
That was great.
another really good ghost movie that Guillermo del Toro produced.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
He likes the ghosts.
He does. Yeah.
Good for him.
And then, I watched God Bless America that night, and then Saturday morning I woke up and made my way out to the movie theater and saw Django Unchained,
Nice.
making my streak of seeing every Tarantino movie in the theater
Sweet.
complete,
Sweet.
with the exception of Reservoir Dogs.
Didn't they rerun it lately?
They did, and
You didn't
I
go?
see it.
Oh, I thought you did go.
No,
Okay.
no. Our friend Joe had invited me to go see. I don't know if we had decided we were seeing that or Pulp Fiction, but you know, I saw Pulp Fiction obviously in the theater, but you know, it just didn't work out where we had the chance to go.
Right.
Yeah, so yeah, I missed out on that one.
Ah, bummer.
I'm fine with that though.
Yeah.
You know, I've seen the others. It's fine. It's all good.
Yeah.
And I really liked it. It was very good. But
Oh, yeah. I thought
Yeah.
it was great.
Yeah.
I thought it was great.
and definitely not my favorite Tarantino movie, but also definitely not my least favorite either. So,
Right. Yeah. Yeah, it was fun. It was fun, and
Yeah.
like, he just knows how to make things look awesome.
Oh yeah.
And he clearly is the biggest movie nerd who's currently
Oh, yeah.
directing movies,
Yeah.
which is great.
I mean, if I had one complaint, is that to me anyway, is that back when he did Pulp Fiction and even Jackie Brown, like he wasn't wearing his influences on his sleeve as much.
Right.
Like I definitely feel like with Kill Bill and then the Inglourious Bastards and with this one that he is definitely going out of his way to sort of mimic,
Tip his hat.
right? Yeah, to you know the directors and the movies that he liked. I kind of want to see him maybe tone that down a little bit with his
Yeah.
next one.
Yeah.
You know, and just make a movie. I mean, it's fine because obviously, I mean, I know that all of his movies are influenced by everything
Right.
else that he's ever experienced.
And his voice does shine through
Right.
those homages, but
yeah,
they're there. Yeah.
right. And but they were at least a little more subtle with Reservoir Dogs and Pulp Fiction.
Yeah, exactly.
Or at least he allowed himself to be the main voice and not, Sergio Leone,
Yeah.
which was like, the fingerprints of that were all over this movie.
Oh, yeah.
But it didn't detract from it. Like, it was still very good, I thought.
Yeah, it's almost like he makes love letters,
Yeah.
and it's like, that's awesome.
Right, yeah.
But yeah.
And they're good on top of that.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
it'd be one thing if, like, he was doing that, but they were just awful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like somebody making a David Lynch parody movie.
Right, yeah.
I love Eraserhead, so I'm going to film a factory for 14 minutes. Then scream off camera.
Right.
The end.
So finally got a chance to see that.
That's cool.
And then last night, I watched a movie. After you left.
After I left.
Yeah.
'Cause I left at like 1:30.
It was closer to 2.
Yeah.
Yeah. And,
It counts the minutes until I'm gone.
yeah. I was like, thank God he's gone. Because now I can watch this movie.
What'd you watch?
I watched the sequel to the best movie that we have reviewed on this podcast.
Goliath 2? Oh, wait a minute. The one about people eating each other's assholes?
That's the one!
Yeah. Goliath 2.
No. You left, and I was trying to find something, because I was still awake, I was drawing, I was working, I didn't feel like going to bed. So I searched through Netflix to find something to watch, and, I wanted to watch a movie of some sort. I didn't know what, and I saw it, and I said, why the fuck not? And I watched Human Centipede 2.
Now, did it top the stellar piece of film that was the first one?
Of course, you realize I really liked the first one.
Right. Yeah.
Like, I legitimately thought it was a good movie. And I believe your lady friend who was our guest on that episode did as well.
I remember.
And
I was saddened immensely.
You did not. Human Centipede 2 may be one of the worst movies I've ever watched.
Really?
Yeah.
I'll have to check it out. Now, I am curious, though, because I remember when we watched it, our theory, or one of our theories, I forget who, was that the same actor played the twin brother of the Doctor in the sequel. Is that what happened?
The Doctor is not in the sequel.
Okay. But it's not... Well, I thought maybe, like, the actor, the same actor would be in the movie, but as a different man.
No.
Okay.
That actor is not in the sequel.
Oh, okay.
There is only one returning actor from the sequel, and that is the girl who played the middle centipede.
Yeah. The Survivor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because this movie is actually very meta.
Really?
Yeah. Because I'm gonna fucking spoil this movie just so nobody watches it.
What if I want to see it?
I'm gonna fucking spoil it so that you don't watch it.
I veto the spoiler. I've never used my veto.
Nope.
No, just kidding. I don't care.
The movie is about a guy who is obsessed with the human centipede.
Okay.
And he's clearly has mental issues, and so he decides that he is going to make his own human centipede. But with 12 people instead of just 3. And so he's like a possibly mentally retarded midget-looking dude who lives with his verbally abusive mom and formerly living with his physically abusive dad and sexually abusive dad. He becomes obsessed with this movie. Wants to build a human centipede and basically just kidnaps people from the parking lot in which he works and takes them to this warehouse where he is preparing them to be centipeded up.
And he tries to kidnap the actress?
He tries to kidnap all the actors from the movie, but only one of them shows up. And she, under the pretense that she will be auditioning for a Quentin Tarantino movie. And kidnaps her and makes her the lead centipede this time.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's a upgrade
Yeah.
for her role.
But of course he is not a doctor, so he is basically just bonking them on the heads with a crowbar, and he is stapling their lips to the other person's
Oh,
assholes.
wow, yeah. That's not as...
Knocking out their teeth with a hammer, and it's all very gory, and basically everything that everybody was afraid that they were going to do in the first movie, they do in this one.
Okay.
But it's in black and white.
What?
Yeah, the entire movie is in black and white.
That's strange.
So all the super gore stuff is just done in black and white, and
Wonder why it's black and white.
I don't know, because it's a pretentious piece of shit.
Yeah.
That's why.
I mean, it's nothing to do with the amount of gore, because I know, like, sometimes...
No, yeah, it was intended to be black and white.
Okay.
That was a choice. And it is a pretentious piece of shit, because it is the director saying, all the people who thought that the first one was, so disgusting, well, fuck you, and here's this.
Right.
And also, I love me. And,
So it's the same director.
Same director.
Okay.
And so he makes this centipede and gory stuff and weirdness, and he forces the centipede to do the shit thing because he's trying to reenact the movie
right.
and then everybody dies, and then it's all a dream.
That's so horrible. So you soldiered through that, and it was a JR ending.
Yep.
Wow.
Yep.
Nice.
And I suspected it from the get-go. But I kept going through it, and I was doing other stuff too. But
Right.
man, the worst thing about that movie is just how fucking boring it was to get there.
Right. It's like driving a long highway drive and to something you don't even want to go to, but the long highway drive is the worst part.
Yeah, or more like just you're taking a trip and you're driving on this long, boring ride, and then when you get to the destination, it was from where you came from in the first place.
Right. Yeah. That's disappointing.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I wasn't expecting it to be good.
Right.
Like as soon as I heard the concept of the movie, I was like, oh, this is the director basically saying fuck you.
All right.
And man, what a fuck you it was. It was just an awful, boring piece of shit. And yeah, we've talked before about how the "it's all a dream" ending is the worst thing that anybody can do.
From the second time it was done forward.
Yep.
Yeah.
Including this one. And I was like, yeah, because I was occasionally tweeting while I was watching it as well, and even though it was like 4 a.m, nobody was paying attention. But it was like an hour in, and I was like, nothing is happening other than he's kidnapped like 15 people. But like he's not doing anything. Like the lead actor never talks throughout the whole movie. Like he occasionally makes screamy noises occasionally, but like he's killed a few people at that point, but nothing was happening other than like he jerks off with sandpaper.
Lord.
It's a piece of shit. It is just a piece of shit.
Right. It sounds worse than the first one.
Yeah. And again, I personally feel that the first one is a legitimately good movie.
Mm-hmm.
This one is, it was clearly the intention of the director to make that the way it was, but it was just awful.
Right. It's too bad.
So go see Django Unchained. Don't see Human Centipede 2.
And go to Amazon and get Save the Date.
Yeah. And also go see Mama, because that was also one.
Yeah. I might check that on DVD.
Yeah, it was worth it.
I too saw Django Unchained. Thought it was great.
Yeah.
I don't know if we talked about that, but yeah, I liked it.
Yeah. So that was an hour and a half of my life I'll never get back last night, and then I watched like 2-3 episodes of Psych as a palate cleanser after.
There you go. Yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah. Actually, I was kind of looking for just a stupid comedy or something, but I couldn't really pick anything that I wanted to see. So
when you watched the movie, you mean?
Well, actually, yeah. Before I picked that movie, kind of was in the mood for something comedic or like horror,
Right?
but good horror. And Yeah, and I settled on that, but then afterwards I was like, I need something better.
Bring you back.
Yeah.
Well, that's too bad. Well, I'll warn Kathleen.
All right.
Because I think she was planning on seeing it eventually.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, just, I mean, if you tell her anything, just tell her that the ending is all a dream.
Yeah.
You know, because that's, to me, anyway, that's the surefire way of getting me to not want to watch it again.
Yeah. Unless, like, it's so stellar that you can just ignore the ending, but
Right.
that's not going to happen.
No, yeah.
If that's their, if they get up from their desk and go, wow, I just wrote a great script, and they wrote the ending was a dream, then you can pretty much bet the middle is not going to be much better.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, maybe we could watch a better movie.
I hope so.
Yeah.
That would be nice.
Is Human Centipede 3 on Netflix yet?
No, but it's in theaters, so we're taking a field trip.
Yes! 3D.
All the things that you love, go into a movie theater, 3D, IMAX,
And
Human Centipede.
Yeah.
We're
Awesome.
doing it.
Sweet.
Opening night.
Yeah, that way we can make sure it's super crowded. Yeah. That would be the best.
No, I am not picking anything like that.
No centipedes at all.
Can't guarantee that.
Oh, okay.
But definitely no human centipedes.
Okay, well, I'm fine with that.
Because I've never seen this movie, and I've already picked this movie once. I picked it, my last movie pick,
Oh, okay.
and then changed my mind.
Right.
And we watched a different thing. So now I'm going back to it.
You're sticking to your guns this time?
Sticking to my guns this time.
Okay.
Guaranteed 100%. We will watch next episode, The Son of Rambo.
Yes. I'm excited.
There.
I'd kind of forgotten about it after we watched John Dies at the End, but yeah, that's cool.
There.
Yeah. John Rambo. That's what we're watching.
John Rambo dies at the end.
John Rambo dies at the end. Spoiler.
I don't think. Actually, I guess in the original version of First Blood, he does commit suicide.
In the movie?
Yeah.
Does he really?
I think they filmed it even.
Oh, but not in like.
But yeah, the final cut of the movie, he survives.
I was gonna say I've only seen it once, but
No, yeah.
and I was like a teenager, but I was like, I don't remember that.
No, yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, there's a deleted scene in
Wow.
the First Blood DVD.
Dark.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe things would have been better had he done that. Don't know.
You mean for him?
Well, for the
The
franchise.
movie watching public?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because after 2, it takes a steep dive.
Oh man, I even thought 2. Like even when I was a kid and I was watching it, I was like,
2's not great either.
I was enjoying it, but I was like, this is probably not good.
Right.
Like this is just crap.
Yeah. I did enjoy 4 quite a bit. The most recent one.
Right.
There.
I haven't seen anything past 2.
But yeah, 2 was not great. 3 was definitely terrible. But 1 is, I think it actually deserves a better reputation than it has.
Right.
There. But this one is about none of that.
None of those two guys.
Nope.
This is Sylvester Stallone's son goes into
Right.
Afghanistan to save Sly Stallone.
Yeah, it's like the new Die Hard movie that's coming out.
Yeah.
Yeah. Where McClane and his son team up, and only this is Rambo and his son.
See, it comes out on Father's Day. It's a documentary, right?
Uh-huh.
Okay. Yeah.
No.
It's not. I don't know. I really don't. Is it not a documentary?
No.
Okay.
Yeah, no, it's a comedy.
Okay.
It's a family comedy about a young boy who finds a copy of Rambo 2 and becomes obsessed with it.
Okay.
Much like the Human Centipede 2. And decides to make his own version of Rambo.
But it turns out it's all a dream.
Huh?
Turns out
it's all a dream. Yeah. And he masturbates with sandpaper.
Most kids try that.
Right.
They just do it the once. I really thought it was like a documentary about a kid that loved Rambo.
Oh, no, not at all.
Okay.
It's a fictional movie.
Okay. I like fiction.
Yeah. And we're going to watch it.
Yay!
All
Movie
then.
time.
Movies. Alrighty.
Well, good night. Happy holiday. Hope you enjoy your day off.
I hope so as well. Thank you.
Well,
I hope you have fun at work.
I will.
All right. Good night, everybody.
See you guys.
Thank you for listening to Gutter Trash. You can subscribe to the show from guttertrash.net or from iTunes and leave us a review. Visit guttertrash.net for email information, links to our Facebook and Twitter pages, and for other podcasts and websites in the Gutter Trash Network. Thanks again for listening, and we'll see you next time.